You have to have a discerning eye in order to catch this difference within the Bible. You have to be somebody who studies and actually studies the religion in order to catch what my man wrote up here. But these are some of the things that help people to deconstruct from Christianity and causes people to deconstruct from Christianity, because we recognize how you cannot trust this Bible and any translation for the most part because of the differences that you will find in Bibles today. So his question was concerning Isaiah chapter 18 and how it describes the Ethiopians. Now, the original text does not call them Ethiopians, although the word Ethiopians was a word that was in use in and around that time frame, but it was merely used to describe people who was of dark skin. But in the original text, it uses the word Cush, and it talks about the people of Cush. Now, for you to have a fuller understanding of this, the people of Cush was considered a very influential kingdom, a very advanced kingdom during this time frame in and around 500 and 400 BCE. So they were a world power in this Mediterranean, North African, in this theater. So when the Bible describes them in the King James Version, they are described as being terrible. So when you look at the King James Version, in verse 2, it talks about the messenger or the ambassador, and the ambassador by the sea, even in vessels and bulrushes upon the waters, saying, go ye, swift messenger, to the nations scattered and peeled, to the people terrible from their beginning hitherto. So the King James Version described them as being terrible. Even when you look at verse 7 of the King James Version, you will see it says that they are terrible as well. In that time shall the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts, a people scattered and peeled, and from the people terrible. So we see that the King James doubles down on his translation from Latin versions of the Bible, the Vulgates, and other manuscripts to describe it as terrible. But when you look at the RSV version of the Bible, which is the version that I use most often, the RSV speaks differently. In verse 2, which sends ambassadors by the Nile in vessels and papyrus upon the waters. Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation tall and smooth, to a people feared near and far, a nation mighty and conquering, whose lands the rivers divide. So we see that they are just merely described as tall and smooth, and that the people are just a feared nation, and people understand their power by far. So in verse 7 of the same RSV, you see that they are described as the same. At the time, gifts will be brought to the Lord of hosts from the people tall and smooth, from the people feared near and far. So what does this demonstrate? Well, what it demonstrates that most people don't recognize is that during the time frame of King James and any time prior to that, the linguistic talents and the linguistic knowledge of the people translating has gotten better. Their linguistic abilities, their translation abilities was not as detailed as ours are today. In today's world, we're able to add AI programs to these translations. We're able to understand more because we have a wider berth of information to be able to identify how a word was being used at the time frame of the writings of those words. So it is that we have clearer understandings and more knowledge today than people when they was reading the King James, when they were translating King James. This also means we have more information when they was translating the Vulgate, when they were translating the Septuagint, when they were translating the Codex Sinaiticus, that all those translations were based on the knowledge that people had at that time frame, not the knowledge that we have now, which we have more. So when somebody is debating me or having a conversation with me and they are using the King James Version, it lets me know that they are using a lesser version. When people are debating me and they use the Strong's Concordance, they are using a lesser version. So if you really want to know what those words meant back then to the greatest of our knowledge right now, and in the future we may know even more, then I would suggest you use one of the RSV versions, or something similar to that, something that is more updated and more accurate. But at the end of the day, it is all a fairy tale. Now, I do want to say this real quick to my people who are members on Facebook and subscription holders on members on YouTube and subscription holders on Facebook. I've been delinquent in my duties of producing videos just for you guys. Today, you will receive a video, and every day that I produce videos, if I produce 3, one video will go to the subscription holders, members. The other video will go to on the normal page. So it'll be 2 for 1. So, but those subscription holders and members, they will get all 3 videos. If I only produce 2, it'll be 1 and 1. But the subscription holders will have access. The subscription holders and members will have access to all the videos, because I do want to show that appreciation for those people who support the channel by subscriptions on Facebook and by memberships on YouTube. So y'all have a great day. See you tonight live on Facebook and YouTube. And always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.